Is the Guilford, Connecticut real estate market slowing down? Not a chance. In this video, I break down the official January 2026 market data from the New Haven Middlesex Association of Realtors and the MLS. We'll cover quite a few things. Why it's not one of the strongest seller markets we've ever seen and what that really means. The shocking 35% price surge in the condo market and the forces driving it. Why perfect homes get 5% over ask while fixer-uppers are getting 8% or less. The number one reason inventory is at historic lows, the rate lock-in effect explained, actionable pro-level advice for both buyers and sellers in Guilford for 2026. All right, so let's take a look at the first slide. I'm Dan Lussier with eXp Realty, and today we're going to do a deep dive into the real estate market for the town that's seeing some incredible action, Guilford, Connecticut. We've just gotten the official numbers in for January 2026, and whether you're thinking of buying, selling, or just want to know the value of your own home, this is the information you need to have. Now, let's get into it. The deep sellers market. The first thing you need to know about the Guilford right now is that we're in what's called a deep sellers market. The key metric here is the absorption rate. To put it simply, this number tells us how fast the market is moving. A balanced market where buyers and sellers have roughly equal footing typically has an absorption rate of around 20%. Right now, the absorption rate for single-family homes in Guilford is a staggering 41.5%. That's more than double the balance of the market. It means for every 10 homes listed, more than 4 are going under contract every single month. That creates a highly competitive environment where sellers hold most of the cards. The two sides of Guilford. So what does a strong seller's market do to prices? Exactly what you'd expect. The median price for a single-family home in Guilford has climbed to $605,000. That's a solid 4.3 increase from this time last year, adding about $25,000 in equity to the typical home. But the real story, the one that's truly shocking, is in the condo market. The median price for a condo has skyrocketed to $297,000. That's a 35% jump year over year. That's an increase of over $75,000 in just 12 months. This isn't just a small bump. It's a seismic shift. We're seeing this missing middle crisis in action as the single-family homes become less affordable. Buyers are flooding into the condo market, leading to intense competition and driving prices through the roof. However, not all homes are created equal in this. We're seeing a clear split based on property condition. One hand, turnkey, updated homes are in such a high demand that they're selling for a premium. For example, 849 Hoop Pole Road sold for 5% over its asking price because it was move-in ready. On the other hand, homes that need work, the fixer-uppers, they're seeing a significant buyer resistance. A home like 157 Barker Hill Drive, which needed updates, traded in at 8% discount. In fact, 6 out of the 9 verified sales in January closed for less than the asking price. This tells us that while buyers are desperate for homes, they are not willing to overpay for a property that requires a lot of work and investment, especially with today's cost of labor and materials. Okay, so let's circle back to the condo market. If you take a look at the condo market, it's a 35% price surge in the condo market, just like I was saying before, because it's a critical trend. While single-family homes now over $600,000 mark, condos have become the entry point for many first-time home buyers and downsizers. But here's the catch. There is virtually no inventory. None. In January, there were 0 new listings. Not one. At the same time, closed sales were up 400% compared to last year. This has created a pressure cooker environment where the few condos that do come on the market see intense, immediate competition. For condo owners, this is an unprecedented opportunity to cash in on a record high equity. For buyers, It means you have to be ready. You need to have your paperwork in order. As soon as that listing hits the market, you need to be on your game and getting out there to take a look. That brings us to the biggest challenge facing Guilford market, a severe inventory crisis. In January, only 8 new single-family homes came to the market. The primary reason is the rate lock-in effect. If you think about this from a homeowner's perspective, if you bought in 2021, you might have a mortgage of, 3%? Why would you sell your home? Take a new one, more expensive mortgage at 6% and face a market with almost nothing to buy. You wouldn't, I wouldn't either, unless you absolutely had to. And there are still people who do. This is keeping homes off the market and choking off supply, which in turn drives prices up artificially. So mortgage rates are stabilizing. The average 30-year fixed mortgage rate has stabilized to around 6.1. This is a double-edged sword, though. As we just discussed, it's a high enough to keep would-be sellers on the sidelines, but it has also been stable enough to allow buyers who need to move for a job, growing family, other life events to adjust and enter the market. This chart really puts the affordability gap in perspective. A $500,000 loan at 3% costs you about $2,100 a month. At today's 6.1 rate, that same loan costs over $3,000 a month. This isn't including taxes and insurance. That's an extra $900 every month, or nearly $11,000 a year going straight to interest. That's an affordability challenge buyers are facing, and it's why turnkey homes are so popular. Buyers are stretching their budgets on a monthly payment and have little left over for renovations. So, as we talked about before, speed of the market. In this market, it's very competitive. Speed is everything. The average home in Guilford is on the market for just about 23 days. That doesn't mean it takes 23 days to get an offer. It means it takes 23 days to go from list to fully under contract. Most well-priced homes are getting offers within the first week. For buyers, this means you cannot afford to be unprepared. You need to have your pre-approval letter from your reputable lender, not just a pre-qualified letter. You need to have somebody who looks over all your documents and make sure you are good to go. You need to be connected with a responsive local agent who can get you into the house the day it lists. The buyers who are winning in this market are the ones who are the most prepared and act decisively. So what does this all mean for you? Let's break down the game plan. For sellers, you're in the driver's seat. If you have a well-maintained, updated home, now is an exceptional time to sell, if you have a place to go. To maximize your return, invest in pre-listing preparations, fresh paint, professional cleaning, staging, price it right at the market value of now, not 21, to attract multiple offers and create a bidding war. Don't get greedy. Overprice from the start. That is the killer. So try not to be so greedy and listen to your agent. For buyers, be patient but prepared. Speed wins, so have your financing locked up. Be strategic. Look for those properties that need cosmetic updates, as that's where you're going to find the value and the less competition. Write a clean offer with a few contingencies as possible. Do your inspections. And consider an escalation clause, but make sure you ask the other agent first, because I found that escalation clauses, not every seller is open to it. So have your agent reach out to the agent to make sure that that's okay, so you're not wasting time. Overpaying from the start is not a good idea, and don't rule out condos. While prices are up, they are still a viable path to homeownership in Guilford. Okay, so key takeaways and final thoughts. To wrap it all up, Guilford is a deep seller's market defined by its inventory crisis and a clear split between turnkey and fixer-upper properties. Guilford's got an old, aging inventory, so there's a lot more of those. Prices are up, Homes are selling fast and condo market is on fire. As we move further into 2026, the big wild cards will be mortgage rates and the broader economy. Any drop in rates could bring a flood of new buyers because there are so many sitting on the sidelines and sellers off the sidelines, changing the dynamic completely. My advice is to work with a professional who lives and breathes this complex market. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions about the Guilford market or are thinking of making a move, my contact information is below. And don't forget, come back, watch the next video, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.